In today's class, we are going to study the second chapter of history, that is Kings and Kingdoms. Around the time when Harshvardhana and Pulakeshin II were locked in a war for supremacy in India, a revolutionary change was taking place not too far away from the Indian shores. It was the emergence of Islam in Arabia. Emergence of new kingdoms. During the earliest phase of the medieval history, roughly starting from the 7th century, vassals or chieftains representing numerous clan identities rose in prominence in different parts of the subcontinent. Soon they acquired power and wealth and asserted their independence to establish independent kingdom. For instance, Danti Durga defeated the Chalukyas and laid the foundation of Rashtrakuta dynasty. Some chieftains such as Gujara Pratiharas gave up their traditional occupation and successfully established their kingdom in Rajasthan. A clan of warriors referred to as the Rajputs dominated the history of North and Central India from about 750 CE to 1200 CE. They claimed their descent from the Solar family or Lunan family. Many historians trace their ancestry to tribes such as the Huns, Kushanas, Shakas, etc. They established their kingdoms throughout North India and guarded the land from Arab and Turk invaders. During the reign of Harshvardhana, Kannauj became the center of all political developments in North India. On account of its strategic position, Kannauj fostered trade and commerce, and high fertility of the soil encouraged agricultural growth. Due to this, all kingdoms that sprang up after the disintegration of Harshvardhana's empire were equally interested in acquiring control over Kannauj. If we talk about the earliest or initial phase of the medieval history from 7th century, at that time numerous clan identities rose in the prominence. Okay, and if it was arising in the different parts of the Indian subcontinent, sooner soon they just got the power and wealth, and they and assert their independence to establish their independent kingdom. So Danti Durga defeated the Chalukyas and he put the foundation of Rashtrakuta dynasty. Okay, some chieftains like Gujara Pratiharas, they just gave up their traditional occupation and they established their kingdom in Rajasthan. There is a clan of warriors, those who are known as Rajput. They dominate the history of North and Central India. If we talk about the duration, it is from 750 C to 1200 C, and they claim that their ancestors are from the Solar family or the Lunar family. Okay, and so many historians say that their ancestry tribes like Huns, Kushanas, and Shakas, these are they also established their kingdom throughout North India, and they guarded the land of our country from Arab and Turk invaders. During the reign of Harshvardhana, okay, at that time Kannauj was the center of all the political developments in North India, and because of its strategic position, Kannauj fostered the trade and commerce. Okay, and because of the high fertility of the soil, agricultural growth was encouraged in Kannauj. Because of all these things, all the new kingdoms that came up after the disintegration of Harshvardhan Empire, they were interested in acquiring control over Kannauj. Warring kingdoms involved in tripartite struggle. The beginning of medieval Indian history was marked by a long struggle involving the Gujara Pratiharas of Malwa, the Rashtrakutas of Deccan, and the Palas of Bengal to establish their supremacy over Kannauj. As this event involved three major regional powers, it is described by historians as the tripartite struggle. The constant struggle eventually weakened the three dynasties and resulted in their ultimate decline. In the beginning of medieval Indian history, in order to establish their supremacy over Kannauj, there was a long struggle which involved the Gujara Pratiharas of Malwa, the Rashtrakutas of Deccan, and the Balas of Bengal. Because in this event, three major regional powers were involved, that is why the historians regarded this as tripartite struggle. And because of the constant struggle, this struggle weakened the three dynasties and it results in their ultimate decline. The Gujara Pratiharas. The Gujara Pratiharas were the dominant power in western India, that is, parts of western and central Rajasthan and parts of central India. Initially, they had been local officials who later succeeded in establishing independent principalities. They also resisted the Arab incursions. The long line of powerful rulers of this dynasty included Nagabhatta I from 750 to 780 CE, the founder of the dynasty, Vatsraja, and Mihir Bhoja. Mihir Bhoja 836 to 890 CE is the most prominent among them. He established the largest empire in northern India and his capital was Kannauj. He issued silver coins bearing the emblem of Varaha, an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. He assumed the title of Adi Varaha. Okay. Al-Masudi, he was a foreign traveler. He wrote extensively about the power and prestige of the Gujara Pratihara rulers. They were great patrons of learning and literature, and Raja Sekhara, he was famous Sanskrit poet. He was patronized by the Pratihara rulers. The Palas. The Pala Empire was established by Gopala around 750 CE. His kingdom extended over the states of present-day Bengal, Bihar, parts of Orissa, and Nepal. They fought many wars with Gujara Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas. The Pala dynasty expanded their political boundaries under Dharmapala and his son Devpala. Their empire included Kannauj, Odisha, Bihar, Assam, and northern India. According to the Tibetan chronicles, the Palas were patrons of Buddhist learning, literature, and education. Dharmapala established the famous Vikramshila Buddhist University. Pala rulers also donated generously to Nalanda University, another famous center of Buddhist learning and education. They had trade and cultural relations with the countries of Southeast Asia. Mahipala, one of the later rulers, was defeated by Rajendra Chola of the Chola dynasty in 1023 CE. Ramapala 1082 to 1124 CE was the last known king of the dynasty. The Khalji invasions eventually dealt the final blow to the Pala University. The Rashtrakutas. The Rashtrakuta kingdom was established by Danti Durga or Danti Varman. The word Rashtra in Sanskrit means territory, while Kuta means chieftain. Prior to acquiring the status of ruling dynasty in the Deccan, the Rashtrakutas were the vassals of the Chalukyas in central India. The dynasty produced many famous warriors and efficient administrators. Malkhed or Manyakhet near modern Sholapur in Maharashtra was the capital of the Rashtrakuta. They fought many wars with the Gujara Pratiharas, the Chalukyas of Fengi, the Pallavas of Kanchi, the Pandyas of Madurai. Gradually, large tracts of Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Malwa came to be included in the Rashtrakuta Empire. The Rashtrakuta rule in the Deccan lasted till the end of the 10th century. If we talk about the famous Rashtrakuta rulers, Govinda III, Amoghavarsha, and Krishna III were the most famous. The rock cut caves of Ellora and Elephanta in Maharashtra is now considered as the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in India. It was also built by Rashtrakuta rulers. Other prominent kingdoms, there are some other kingdoms. These are the Chauhans, the Kalachuris, the Chandelas, the Gaharwals, and the Hindu Shahis. That's it for today's class. Thank you.